Hello everyone, and sorry for the weird intro, and welcome to another UFC review. This is for UFC 218, Aldo vs Holloway 2 at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. And before I start this review, I do want to point out something I missed in yesterday's review of the Ultimate Fight Season 26 finale. It was during one of the fights, of course it was, where between rounds, one of the coaches said to the fighter in that corner, I don't remember who, I'm not going to be asked going back to find out, basically said, like, you need to get this motherfucker, and then he turned like someone was looking at him, like he said, like saying the F word on live TV in a sport where people punch each other was a bad thing. Then he said, you've got to get this gentleman, or dude, or something. It was weird seeing you change from motherfucker to dude, so, yeah, with that in mind, little segue, we're going to go right into the prelim cards of this. Professional, I'm professional. So we started things off with a really solid fight between Courtney Casey and Felice Herrig, and it's getting up. It was a really good back and forth, and it was entertaining enough. They did stay in one area for quite a long time, especially in round 3. They pretty much stayed in the same place the entire time. There was like taunting near the end of round 3 though, and I believe Courtney Casey, like, she started with the hand raise of some sort. Then I think she did this. I don't know, because there's a good chance that when she did it, we saw the back of her, then when we saw the front, she was doing that, so it might not have been a full-on that, but that's what it kind of looked like, and it was just kind of funny. And then she gave the birds, because of course, and yeah, it was a really good back and forth, and Felice Herrig won by split decision. It was an entertaining fight. I think, like, the split decision thing was the right call. I honestly thought that Courtney had it, but I'm not really, too salty over the result. Both ladies had a really good showing, and they kicked off the prelim card in a really good fashion. So, yeah. While that fight gets an up, though, this one gets a down. David Tamer versus Drakkar Klose. The fight itself wasn't terrible, but Herb Dean, who apparently has been having an off night, apparently he made a controversial call earlier during the Fight Pass, which I didn't get to watch any of last night or today, unfortunately, because I watch it on the day after I record it at night. Yeah, so this was in the early goings. Basically, Tamer had accidentally kicked Klose in the crotch. Klose accidentally had his fingers out and accidentally poked Tamer in the eye. Herb D didn't notice either of those, and then there was a moment where Drakkar Klose was taunting and doing nothing, and Tamer was actually moving and trying to do stuff. And instead of warning Drakkar Klose like Herb Dean should have, he warned David Tamer despite the fact that he was the active fighter. He wasn't going to get caught playing dumb, because if he did go for Drakkar during his taunting, he would have gotten caught with something. So to see Herb Dean doing that and just being, I don't know, kind of short-sighted, I guess is the word I would say. It's very rare to say anything negative about Herb Dean because he's such a respected referee and for good reason. But he really showed exactly why he was having an off night. I didn't really believe it until I saw his actions in this one, and then there was the eye poke late in round 3, which Herb Dean at first claimed that he didn't see, and then when he saw how badly Klose was poked, because he was the one that was poked by Tamer, when he saw how badly he was poked, he was like, oh yeah, I did see it. It was like, dude, you gotta keep your eyes peeled. I know, like, the fight gets it down, it wasn't exciting. Tamer won by unanimous decision, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so. The right guy won, but the fight was let down by really bad refereeing and just being kind of lackluster in comparison to the previous fight, so unfortunate. But we'll move on. Luckily, this next fight gets an up as we had Alex Oliveira against Yancy Medeiros in one of 2 fights of the night. 2 fights on this card got fight of the night. None of them got performance tonight, but I'll get to the ones which I think should have by the time I finished ending the review. But holy shit, this was amazing. The first round and second round, all of it was fantastic, really. They were so rocked back and forth badly, and eventually Medeiros managed to get the upper hand after landing a good combo. But it was kind of weird because Oliveira was wincing. He went for a right hand and then pulled away. I think he might have hurt his hand, or he might have overextended his right arm so much that he fucked something up in it. I don't really know. But he was seen wincing, and then Medeiros went for the kill, and both fighters showed a lot of respect for each other as well, like hugging and handshaking as each round started. I love that. I just love seeing that, as people know. And this was such a great fight. It's in my top 10 of the year, as is the other fight that we'll get to soon. Like, both of the fights on this card that got fight that were genuinely so good, and Medeiros got the finish at 2 minutes and 2 seconds of round 3. It was a fucking amazing fight, and I loved every moment of it. And we're going to move on to the main round of the prelims. So yeah, this fight gets a huge up, without a doubt. It's tied for biggest up of the night with the other fight of the night. So yeah, 2-0. 3-0 technically if you count the other fight of the night I'm going to get to. Yeah, moving on. And we move from one Oliveira to the other, as Charles Oliveira took on Paul Felder, and now the Oliveiras are not related. And Paul Felder won in this one, pardon me, by TKO at 4 minutes and 6 seconds of round 2. And this was, once again, it was a good fight, it's getting up. Pardon me, it was a really good way to cap off the prelims. The first round was definitely a lot more of Alex Oliveira's round. He was going for a lot of submissions and almost caught Felder in some nasty stuff, but eventually, you know, Felder managed to get out, and in round 2 it was more of a ground exchange. And I remember saying to the screen, even though I know it got near me, especially considering that it was a recording, I remember saying, don't get on the ground with Alex Oliveira. Charles Oliveira. Alex Oliveira is a stand-up guy, Charles Oliveira is a ground BJJ wizard. I remember going, do not get on the ground with him. And Paul Felder kept going on the ground with him, but eventually he managed to mount up in the full guard and land a bunch of elbows and got the TKO victory, so that shut me the hell up. But yeah, it was a really good win. But it was a decent fight all in all, so I can't really complain much about it. It gets an up, and we move on to the main card now. So, yay! I'm also going to give this next fight an up, as it was Tisha Torres versus Michelle Waterson, and they had a good showing. It was exciting enough. I enjoyed it. Tisha Torres proved why she's so deadly. She lives up to her nickname. This was a battle of two of the best nicknames, with Tisha the Tiny Tornado Torres. I just love the alliteration, and Michelle Waterson the Karate Hottie. Like, I like that it rhymes, and that she's also a good fighter. And she's got a sense of humour. She's always smiling. I like that. And she, you know, they both had a good showing. Tisha Torres won by air decision and got a fair few takedowns, but it was mostly stand-up war, and Tisha Torres showed how good she is when she's up close. Michelle Waterson did have a good advantage at a distance, but it was way too close for her to really stand a chance. But she did a good job. You know, she did good enough to make it to the end. And, you know, the judges made the right call. I had Tisha Torres winning, and so did the judges. So, really nothing else to be said. It was a good showing, solid fight, good way to kick off the main card. So, gets an up. And then we get to the other biggest up of the night, and the other fight that got fight of the night, and also another top 10 candidate for my fights of this year. Eddie Alvarez versus Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje. I remember watching these two feud intensely on the Ultimate Fighter Season 2016, even though they didn't. They were actually very, very nice people to each other and showed a lot of respect and human decency, so why is that so difficult to learn, Conor McGregor? I'm joking. But yeah, it was a really, really good fight. Once again, like the Oliveira, that one, who was it? Who was he against? I forgot. Oliveira and Yancy Medeiros fight. This one was also absolutely crazy back and forth. And Eddie Alvarez won after he landed a shocking knee in round 3 and then finished him off. Finished Gaethje off at 3 minutes and 59 seconds of round 3. So basically the 4-minute mark, just 1 second down. And it was an amazing fight. There was a lot of good showing, and that was an interesting little story because by the end of round 2, Eddie had like a huge swelling on his cheek right there, just inside the lip, and you don't really see swellings there that much. And it was growing. It was like that. It looked a bit like that, you know? And it was kind of disgusting, and they really should have gotten more hand swell on it, but he managed to get the win. And this fight was just fucking amazing. Both showing a lot of heart and went in there really, really, like, just guns blazing. Both showed the utmost respect to each other even after it was all said and done, as did Oliveira and Medeiros, so can't really complain. I loved this fight. Huge up, without doubt. We then get to kind of another down now, unfortunately, as Henry Cejudo took on Sergio Pettis. And Cejudo won by unanimous decision, just got a lot of takedowns and did some striking. I don't really remember a lot about this fight, but it wasn't fantastic. It gets it down. I just didn't like it. It was kind of like the same stuff was repeated, sort of. I wasn't particularly a big fan of what I did remember seeing, but Cejudo, you know, he's a great wrestler, and Sergio Pettis, being the younger brother of Anthony, he's got a lot of potential, but this fight was not his night, unfortunately. Cejudo, I like him, but he didn't really win in a super impressive fashion, in my opinion, so yeah, it gets it down. I wasn't a big fan of this one. But we move on to the co-main event now? Yes, we do. Let's go. So the co-main event between Alistair Overeem and Francis Ngannou. Good stand-up striking back and forth, and then Ngannou won with only one punch. At 1 minute and 54 seconds in round 1, it was the only punch he landed, and it knocked Alistair Overeem's spark the fook out. It was absolutely, like, I wasn't even expecting it. Overeem was pushing the pace, he was opening up with good kicks, he was throwing some good combos, but Ngannou managed to keep on his feet, managed to sway and dodge, and block, and clinch a little bit. There wasn't a lot of that, but it was a little bit. And then Overeem went for a combo, Ngannou threw a left hook, and then Overeem died. I think he died. He might be alive still, but I think he's actually dead. I don't really know how to explain this. This is just insane. And after the left hook, Ngannou went for a right hand, and it reminded me very much of when Bisping got knocked out by Dan Henson in 2009. But this one was, just one shot. I even yelled, "One punch!" after it was done, and yes, Francis Ngannou is one of the two people that would get my performance of the night bonus for this, because it was only one damn punch. It was literally one punch. I mean, he threw some that missed, but this was the only one that actually landed, and it knocked Overeem out. Just flat. He was dead on his feet. Well, not even dead on his feet. He got hit with it and fell. And Ngannou won. So, well done to Ngannou. I like him. He's a good fighter. And I like Overeem too. This is his 60th fight, though. Overeem's 60th fight. That's insane. Anyway, yeah, this gets enough. It was just absolutely mental. And we're going to move on to the main event now. And so, we move on to the main event. But before we do, I wanted to say that I almost made a joke earlier about when Eddie Alvarez had the cheek swelling. I wanted to... So you come to me. I wanted to do a Godfather joke. I kind of did when I watched the fight. I know it's a bit late for that joke now, but because we're on the main event, so let's focus on this. Go. I don't always light myself in the face. Yeah, Holloway is still featherweight champion, won in round 3 by TKO at 4 minutes and 51 seconds, kind of later than when he won the first fight against Aldo back in June. But you know what? He fought Aldo twice and beat his ass up by the end, well, by round 3 in both fights, and he's still champion. And it gets up, and Holloway would get my other performance of the night bonus. He was doing some taunting. Pardon me, he was doing some taunting early on. Excuse me. And it was kind of funny, it was kind of entertaining, but it wasn't to the level of Courtney Casey in her fight with Felice Herrig at the start of the prelim card. But it was still noticeable, and he, proved, he beat Jose Aldo pretty much the same way he did last time. He started off round 1 where he landed enough to keep his balance. Round 2 he started picking up the pace, and round 3 he started going for it and actually got the good win. Aldo definitely stood a better chance in the second fight than in the first one. He was landing a lot more shots, especially in round 1. He was swinging really, really well and landed some really good stuff. But Holloway managed to pull away with the win, and it's crazy to think that Holloway is probably, I think, the only featherweight to actually have a victory over Conor McGregor. Yeah, and yes, like most of the people, I do predict that McGregor will face Holloway again. Maybe. I mean, that would be cool to see. I didn't really see their first fight. I wish I did, because I've heard good things about it. But yeah, so this was a really good fight, getting up, and Holloway would get my other performance of the night bonus. I really enjoyed this card. It's just 2 really, really just awesome cards in a row from the UFC. Between the 2, I think I kind of prefer this one because the 2 Fight of the Nights were definitely deserving and are just some amazing stuff. I love them both. Even though there's no performance of the night bonuses, I feel like there should have been, and it was just a really good card, and it satisfied the Detroit crowd, and it satisfied me, so that's all I want, really, out of life. Sorry, I'm looking at my cat, he's waking up. Hi! Meow. He let a little meow, so I know to pet him. There he is. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow, I think, because I have a big vlog, and it's going to be an announcement vlog. And it's something I've been thinking about doing for a while, so I'll see you all tomorrow. As always, thank you for listening. You're awesome. Bye.